haters gonna love to get it as it gets stuck up. Because what? Okay, so anyways, guys, we're just gonna keep going and going and going and going and going. I don't care. I brought a light too, so I don't really give a fuck. We're going. I've been here for more than an hour and they're fucking with the flow, so that's fine. They want to piss me off. It ain't gonna work this time. So you can hear me. That's all that matters. I've already said my prayers. I've already cleansed the space. Do I need to repeat them? No. Perfect. So, anyways, siang yapa. Oh, better watch out for my dupa. So, today we're talking about Durga, okay? So, Durga is the supreme Mother Divine. And what happened is basically all of the gods, all of the warriors, everything gave her all of their strongest tools, all of their weapons, and all of their strongest parts of them, all of their essence, right? They gave them to the divine feminine to create, to birth, right? And she was birthed out of this fire, but out of the space of love to protect the realm. Okay? Wow, that butterfly just. So out of a place of love to protect the realm, to protect the earth. Um, I apologize for the bad whatever. You guys will just have to deal with that because this device isn't working. So it really doesn't matter. What's most important, is not what it looks like or what other people sees your directive, your intention, your connection to divinity. So what they basically were stating um, is that the Supreme Mother was birthed out of fire, out of love, out of the necessity. Durga is who the entire planet. So when people want to say that I'm doing anything else, they don't understand. They haven't studied actual ancient religions, actual ancient cultures, and they're not actually connected directly to the divine. Okay? Divinity itself is a direct connection to the divine. Not every female is a divine feminine. Not every male is a divine masculine. In order to reach that level where you have that label, it's the same as Mary Magdalene. Mary wasn't her name. Mary was the title, just like Sir, Lady, whatever, Lord, whatever. It's a title that was given out of high respect. Mary was a womb priestess, a womb goddess, right? She was practicing ancient womb wisdom, womb magic. Okay. So Durga, they all gave all of their most powerful weapons, all of their most powerful essences to the divine feminine, and out of her birthed, out of love and out of flames, out of her own essence, she birthed Durga. Durga became this actual manifestation from of Shakti, right? And so she became known as the Mother Supreme, the divine feminine being Mother Supreme. Okay. And she is what eliminated all of the demonic entity, the whole force across the realms. Not any other god, no other anything was able to annihilate the sheer evil or the negative demonic entities other than the supreme mother divine being. Okay. And she is a conglomeration, again, like I said, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and all of the other warriors, all of them, they gave their most powerful weapons and their most powerful essence and tools. They turned it over so the Supreme Mother could have all of them, could have access to all of the tools. So in that process, she's the one, and it's written. It's actually written in a lot of different. No, she's not a god of Abraham. Not Abrahamic religion is patriarchal based. It was written by the same people who wrote demonology. Okay. If you're under an Abrahamic religion, you're under patriarchy and you're under false pretense. So God is a woman. The divine supreme being is feminine. Actually do your research, not what somebody told you or preached to you. Go and do your research. Take the information that I give you and go learn about it yourself. I'm not here to preach. I am a messenger. I am a divine messenger that is here to share the information. Now, the Supreme Mother being, okay, she is known as Durga. She was a manifestation directly of Shakti, who created Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, okay? And new religions that are only a couple thousand, like that doesn't, I'm sorry, no. I've studied all the different religions and I go with Hindu because it's one of the oldest, most accurate religions. And what they work with is family. They work with the earth, with the spiritual, and with the physical. They work with all three realms and they don't separate. So just like the Abrahamic religions talk about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, no, the Son is what's happening here, right? Father is like the what is above us, the supreme beings, right? The spirit is the planet, move the planet. Haters. Can you hear me? Okay, good. That the planet is no, there's not three gods. There's a lot more gods. But Durga is a manifestation. She's known as the supreme being. Supreme is feminine, okay? And is station of Shakti that she came through Parvati. Okay, so there's many other beings, many other manifestations of her that came through there. But Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva were created from Shakti. Shakti is the source. And the earth, Mother Nature, Mother Ocean, and women cycles, the lunar cycles, just like the new moon, right? Just like the new moon. And they're running on the same cycle as the feminine cycle. Okay. You are mentioned three gods. Okay. That's not English. No, I'm saying those are the three gods that she created. Shakti is the supreme being. She is the supreme goddess. She is the one who created everything. Then she created, not he, not a father, not a man. She created Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva to maintain this realm or this land. Okay. She first was Shakti. Then she had many different incarnations. Parvati, okay? From that, the three main gods and warriors, the Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, they gave their most powerful weapons to the divine feminine to create what was birthed, which is Durga, okay? Durga is probably like the maybe fifth or sixth manifestation of Shakti. She had Parvati, she had Saraswati, she had Lakshmi, she had um, uh, Kali Ma, she had, I mean, there's a plethora of them, right? There's a plethora of them. It's only Abrahamic religions that went to monotheism, which is one God that rules all. And that's where patriarchy kind of manipulated the whole play here. So as we're talking about the new moon and as we're talking about femininity and divine femininity, the supreme being divine is divine feminine, the supreme mother. You can look it up. And so anyways, the way that it was is they gave all of their strongest aspects because them, even as the gods that were created to maintain the realm, could not eliminate these dark forces, these dark demons, right? She could not eliminate them. Or they could not eliminate them. Now Brahma was supposed to, he helped to create this realm, right? And he birthed it after the mother, right? Brahma, Vishnu is the preserver, keeping things preserved, and Shiva is the destroyer. So when things need to end and restart, which is where we're at, right? Because we're in the fifth mass extinction. So because they saw that there was a problem, right? They said they went to the Supreme Mother Being and they said, it's not good. It's not good. There is a negative demonic entity energy that's attacking the realm, and it's infecting all of the beings. We don't know. We can't eliminate it. It was too powerful for any of them, the male gods, the masculinity form that she created, that she manifest, right? It was too complicated for them to eliminate any of them, right? And so that's why they all came together and they said, please, please, Mother, Divine Mother Supreme, please, can you help us to create a being, you know? So as she did that, right? They gave all of their strongest tools, and Durga was born. She was born out of fire. Durga is known as the deity, and she's riding generally lions, okay, but can also be tigers, similar. That's why you see Kali Ma that's on a tiger, because she's another manifestation. She's another incarnacy from this. So the reason why I'm saying this is because it's basically history repeating itself, right? If we want to eliminate the evil, the whatever in nature, right? If we want to get rid of the parasitic and the evil stuff in nature, then we have to actually go and manifest a higher level of the supreme femininity. Now, Durga is the most intense. Now, Kali Ma, most people know Kali because she's blue and she's standing with her tongue out, biting a man's head off, and the blood is coming out. And she's got all the heads around her neck, right? So people are like, oh, well, she's fucking evil. No, she's the destroyer. She's breaking the shield, right? She's breaking the shield. She's breaking the veil of disillusionment, right? And she's literally eating these demons, right? Because she's another manifestation of Durga, right? So she's eating these beings. And as she's eating these beings, it's the only way that she's transmuting the demonic entity of nature so it doesn't come back out. Okay. And that's why you see many of it where it says like different feminines and stuff like this were re-eating their children or whatever. It's because the woman creates. So she birthed something. So she kept re-eating it so it would not be re-manifest in a negative form or way. So anyways, the divine mother being, the supreme being is the divine mother, supreme being, okay? So that's where we are right now. And that's why on this planet, we have these lunar phases. And that's why today we're talking about the new moon. We have the new moon in Cancer, okay? The new moon is the black moon, okay? Here in Indonesia, they call it the black moon. And why? So when we had a full moon, the light is bringing everything to light. It's illuminating all of the shadows. When we have a black moon, and yes, we can eliminate evil actually, because we don't want to continue living in a duality. The duality is the third density. We want to go to fourth and fifth densities. If you want to stay in an evil hellscape, that's your choice. That's your free will. Most of my subscribers here are fourth, fifth, sixth density and above beings. And they're not interested in entertaining evil. They're not interested in addictions, obsessions, lust, corn, any of that shit. Okay. They don't entertain that. That is demonic in nature. So I'm here to tell people how to eliminate that, because people seem to think that me explaining divine femininity and being like this about it. So the divine feminine rage, the divine feminine fire or rage is what ultimately defeated the evil and the demonic entities in the realms and in the plane. You don't believe me? Go ahead and check it out, right? Go ahead and look, what did Durga do? Why was Durga manifested? How was Durga created? What was she created for? What did she come into form for? And you will see she was brought into form with all of the gods and the warriors' strongest things because they couldn't eliminate this evil entity that was overtaking all of the people in the realms. And so that's where Durga was born up, and she destroyed it. She destroyed it and set balance back to the realm. So when people think that people talking about feminism or something like this, it's not about hating man. It's not about not being able to create a balance. Okay. It is about, we have to understand where the source of power comes from and reseat the power instead of making it subservient. Okay. If that makes a little bit of sense to you guys. So the moon, when it is black, when it is full, it's illuminating all of the shadows and the darkness. When it is black, it is about us going inside. That's why you have full moon parties, because it's a great time to see everything. When it's a black moon, when it's a new moon, a black moon, like a black moon Lilith, it's about going down. It's about going deep within, right? Lilith she came out from the trenches of the underworld and re-saved all of the people and brought them up, right? Just like Hecate, right? She's at the crossroads and she is the bearer of the torch or the lantern that guides the lost souls that want the redemption, that are willing to repent and have the redemption to come back up. That's what she does. She guides them out. So this is where we're at. This is the time where we're at. We're in the Kali Yuga, okay? This is the most dark cycle of the cycles. There's multiple different cycles. And when the Kali Yuga ends, which is basically, it's not said to exactly when it ends. It's based on us. It's based on our awakening. It's based on our conceptual understanding to say, okay, divine, mother, supreme being, we repent, we surrender to you, we honor you, we worship you, right? We come in reverence to you. We apologize for belittling you, for submitting you, for graping, molesting, but all these other things to you, because that's what we've been doing, whether it's women or men. It's just what the patriarchal construct has had us doing for an extended amount of time. So as we come to the black moon, that's why it's called Black Moon Lilith, right? Because she goes down and deals with her own demons. It's about us it's about inner introspection. So when we have a new moon, yes, we can create new manifestations, right? It's a great time to make manifestations for what is to come next. Now we're in the sign of Cancer. Cancerian is a water sign. That's why I'm out here next to this little river, even though it's making it hard for me to do the video a little bit. I feel like we're good now. But the water sign is just like in the tarot. Water is about the emotions. It's about the soul. It's about the soul's movement or the soul's emotions, anything like this. And so because of that, we are going deep and we're sitting with some of these emotions. How's the best way that I can help you guys to move through this energy? Some of us are feeling really great because we've already done our shadow work, right? I've felt really great this whole Cancer season because I've done my shadow work, right? I don't need to go back into another dark night of the soul or whatever, right? Some people do. If you haven't faced your own inner shadows, your own inner demons, or your own things, then you're going to need to revisit them. And this might be a really heavy time. You might be over emotional about things. For me, as someone that's super connected to divine femininity, it's like this feminine rage. And the feminine rage, that feminine fire, is ultimately what saved and eliminated the evil from the world and the realm, allowing that divine feminine rage to be born and to destroy its essence, to destroy. So for many people that are like, well, women shouldn't get angry, women shouldn't be mad, women shouldn't be bitter, blah, 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 blah. It's a programmed, they want you to believe that, right? They want you to believe that. And so because of that, you got to understand everything what they've taught us is actually the inverse of what it should be. Therefore, y'all need to protect and allow the divine feminine rage. Now, I'm not saying like road rage. I'm not saying getting angry and fucking attacking people, right? Like that's what happened yesterday in my chat is everybody was attacking me and then trying to make me look as if I was being angry. No, I'm not being angry. I'm reflecting, I'm responding to that which is. But as I sat with it in a meditation and as I sat listening to the thing this morning, there is no anger. The divine feminine rage is what will heal the planet, is what will eliminate the lower frequency masculinity and evil. Okay. So for any woman that's like, where are all the divine masculine? Awaken your fucking divine feminine rage, because divine feminine rage is the only thing that gets us the fuck out of this hellscape. Okay. It's the only thing. Literally, it's been written thousands and thousands of years. You can go fucking look it up. That's why they had to call the divine mother supreme, the feminine supreme being. Supreme being is feminine. And from the supreme feminine being, her rage and her anger, that Durga, the fire, she destroyed all of the evil. Okay. So, no, angry women, the feminine rage is what eliminates it. Anger, no. The rage, it's how we choose to transmute the energy. Okay. So if you're just angry, then you're going around and you're like, I'm mad about every fucking thing. That's anger. Okay. Anger is just getting angered. The divine feminine rage is a completely different thing. The divine feminine rage is a complete different thing. Yes, I'm famous, at least in the spiritual realms and also many physical realms too. So thanks for being here. Thanks for enjoying my Zed talks. So I am a chosen being, right? I was chosen from the Goddess Supreme to come here and reawaken and bring this divine feminine rage into being acceptable, because the patriarchal standard wants women to think they need to be quiet. Women are best seen and not heard. They're best subservient, but actually this is backwards. And if we want to go to a beautiful utopian future, then we're going to have to let this feminine rage bubble up, because as you start working with that divine feminine rage, and if you guys don't know who Durga, okay, well, you can go away because we don't need any negativity. You can go away because utopia will happen, but not with men like you and not with that fucking attitude. That's for sure. Because you don't support the divine feminine. If you support divine feminine, if you are a true embodied divine masculine, right? Then, hey, Leslie, nice to see you. Okay. If you're a real embodied divine masculine and you actually support the feminine, right? You are protecting and providing that space for that divine feminine rage to not be treated as angry or evil. Okay. It has to rise up. It has to bubble up. Just like when you boil water in order to make tea, it's the same thing. In order for the divine feminine to really awaken, and in order for the divine masculine to really be able to shift into gears, they have to hold that space. They have to allow that space to be held. And this is what I'm talking about. We are in this black moon, right? This new moon in the sign of Cancer. So there is going to be a lot of emotions. Cancer is the most sensitive emotional sign. The water is your soul or emotions. So a lot of the people that haven't done their soul work, that haven't done their dark night of the soul, they may be experiencing it at this time. Uh-oh. Sorry, I've been putting my water bottle in the river to cool it down. So if you have actually done your work, if you have actually done your shadow work, then you're going to be okay. You're going to be totally okay. So there's a big lag on this video. That's okay. Doesn't matter. So there's a difference between understanding what the feminine rage is and what the anger is, right? Because as we're allowing for this to bubble up within us, it's like, how are we transmuting it, right? So for me, I transmute by channeling, by sharing. Sometimes I make art or create art, right? Sometimes I make music or I write, I do poetry, right? I sing, I do different things. Now, that's how we transmute it. Sometimes we transmute it by saying, where all the women are going to hold pitchforks and break down anything where they're holding or abusing children. Sometimes we do it by protesting. Sometimes we do it by standing together and saying, hey, all the angry men out there, they're just mad because they're demasculized, because they actually don't have the capacity to take away the evil. They're actually the very thing that feeds all the evil: the lust, the hatred, the jealousy, the envy. Okay, people talk about penis envy. No, it's the veggie envy, it's the punani envy. Okay, that's what everybody is having out here. Okay, the men, the tranny, whatever, all of them, they have the punani and the titty envy, because this is creation. Womb man. Everything is coming from the womb. Everything is birthed from the womb. So man is a manifestation of the womb. Womb man. Okay. So anyways, know your role. Know that you are second. Know that you are not the supreme being. Is not male, is not masculine, it is femininity. Totally. The supreme mother. Yes, as a man, you love the woman, and that's so important, right? And you have to understand that women go through different cycles and phases, just like the moon. So now we're in a dark moon, okay? When the moon is full, it's related. They call it the moon cycle. Oh, they're on their moon. They're on their moon. So when the moon is full, it's like everything's coming out, just like it's illuminating, everything's coming out. And I'm not going to get to whatever, because I know a lot of men watch my channel and it makes them uncomfortable. Okay. Also, it probably makes a lot of the trannies that hate out here uncomfortable, because actually I do have titties and I'm punani, and I have been bleeding for over, like what, 25 years. So it's okay. It's okay, everybody. It's okay. So anyways, we have the same cycles and phases, and women have the same cycles and phases. And so for men to understand that there's certain cycles or phases where there is a different type of rage that has to be come up. There's a time of rest. There's a time of introspection. There's a time of working or building things, right? It's the same, the micro to the macro to the micro, doesn't matter. But we are living on a feminine planet where everything that's fruiting, everything that's flowering or fruiting produces more seeds. Okay. So let's look at, for instance, the coconut tree, or let's look at any type of fruit, anything that's blooming, right? It blooms. And when it produces the fruit, first it produces a beautiful flower. It smells really great. And then from the flower, it turns it into the blossom turns into what it's birthing, right? It births what? A fruit. Now the fruit, now the fruit has a lot of seeds, just like the womb, okay? The fruit or the flowering of the actual plant is the womb. And the fruit is the manifestation of the womb, okay? Now, each one of those fruits produces all kinds of seeds. And then the seeds get carried away by the wind, by the water, by the birds eating them and pooping them. It doesn't matter. It's infinitely producing and creating without asking anything. It gives for free. It produces for free. If it has good soil, if it has good sun, good soil, good environment, it will keep producing and producing and producing, as long as it's being nourished, as long as it's getting its proper nutrition, which is the sun, the water, the climate, or the environment. So that's the same thing as the woman. And this is where people like to say, well, women are this and women are angry and women are that. No, we are the same as nature, moving in lunar cycles. So you guys go deep and find within your black moon Lilith. It may be good for you actually to figure out where your black moon Lilith is, right? That's going to help you to understand where where you need to heal some of these things, where you need to feel and heal some of these things that are kind of keeping your life maybe like this. So, with the black moon or the new moon, as we like to call it, it's in the down phase. Now, this isn't a phase where we go within. So maybe it's time to say, how are we nurturing ourselves? Or what are these feelings that are coming up? How do I feel about what's going on? Are you experiencing it? What's coming up for you at this time? What's coming up for you at this time? You may need to cry. You may need to scream. You may need to get all riled up. You may need to laugh. That's why yesterday in the feed, I was laughing. The ancestors were cracking me up. And then I was like, wow, it's this Cancerian energy. It's about understanding that the emotions is energy in motion. So to restrain it or constrain it or confine it is blocking the fluidity, energy in motion, emotion. So in order to move forward, in order to keep moving forward, in order to have forward movement in general for you, for your life, for your business, for your everything, for the world, the micro and the macro, in order for that to happen, you have to experience the emotion. Now, many people aren't making space for these more intense emotions, and they're also not letting this feminine rage boil up. For me, I'm not surprised that I'm very surprised that there isn't a lot more women banding together and saying, we're going to free all these children that are still locked up in detention centers. We're going to create a space where we're taking care for the children. We're going to go and chop off all these pedos and these grapers and all of this stuff. I'm really surprised, but it is due to a sedative, a patriarchal sedative disillusionment in nature that we're still, because we're afraid to say, actually, that pisses me off. Actually, I'm not okay with that. Actually, I want to cry. Whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Express and experience your full range of emotion right now. It's literally the best thing you could do for yourself. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. Experience that emotion. Okay? If you are a man and you need to fucking scream because something's got you angry, go outside and fucking scream. Ah, if you need to laugh, laugh and laugh and laugh. Watch some comedy, laugh it off. Like maybe you need to let that out. Maybe you've been too uptight for a while and you need to have a good laugh. Maybe you need to have a good cry. It's okay. What's not okay is to sit in that space. Energy in motion. So, as the saying goes, this too shall pass. It will only pass. It will only get out of your body and out of this traumatic state if you actually allow it to come up and to flow, right? It's got to bubble up from wherever and then it's got to come out. Now, you can transmute it, you can cry, you can write a song, you can be like, oh, you can, like for me, I was like, for me, this neighbor was hella pissing me off. And because she was just like, she listens to the shittiest music there ever is. And she just listens to like, you can tell because this dude dumped her, which she has all these fucking people, she's a whore. So anyway, she has all these people coming and going and literally. And this one dude basically came and said, listen, I can't see you anymore because I know that we're being watched because homegirl is kind of important and blah, 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 blah. And so she's for days and she fucking puts the speaker outside. Like, do you really need to put the speaker outside listening to the most dramatic, sad songs or whatever? And I was just like, listen, bitch, if you need to cry about it, cry about it. But stop fucking sitting there feeling sorry for yourself, like in a state of depression, listening to sad fucking music. And so she's like, she gets all whatever. And so she fucking turns it up. And so then I was just like, all right, instead of like getting angry at her, I'm just going to channel that. I'm going to transmute that energy. So then I was like, all right, you want to listen to sad music? Let's talk about your life. Let's talk about how men be using you because you allow them to, and I started just fucking, I started dropping bars about, like, about how whores shouldn't cry because they put that own price on the punani, and that's how they survive. But that was their own choice, essentially, right? And so I started going off, and she's like, "Ah," and so she brings the speaker inside, and then I'm just like, bah, 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 because she's just listening to the same sad songs on fucking repeat. I'm just like, bro, I can't. I literally want to fucking hurt myself because this bitch is literally trying to put this energy, and this is the demonic entities, right? They want to get you out of your flow. So if you're in a state of production or your positivity, like I was creating or I was drawing, I was sitting out there drawing or whatever, and she just really was just like, oh, so jealous, so envious. And it's just like, well, you're mad because you want to act like you're getting all the attention when you're a pick me type of person, but you're allowing men to treat you like that. So don't be mad when they all go home to their wives and you're sitting here with a sad, depressed life. And so I'm just like, and I'm dropping bars for like 3 fucking songs. And she finally like fucking goes in and closes her door and fucking turns the music off. I'm just like, yeah, if you want to listen to sad songs, go ahead, but don't subject everybody else to your sadness. If you want to be angry and you're like, listen, I need to be angry, like fucking go to a place where you can break some plates or make something, transmute that energy, but don't attack other people. And that's what was happening last night is these other people were jealous, envious, hateful, whatever their deal is. And so they were attacking and attacking and attacking. And as I went back and watched the video, I was like, I'm not even angry at all. It's just these amazing Sony headphones. Shout out to Sony. Can I get a sponsor? What's up? I could use some new ones. I would like some black ones because these are like a fucking like I know they have the Sony whatever, but I know that they're bootleg. The Indonesians reproduce them in a bootleg style. So because they can only connect to my phone, not any other devices. So I know Sony didn't do that, and it didn't have Sony's name on it, but let me get that. Let me get some real ones because if you guys have, these Sony headphones are actually fire. Just to give a little shout out right now. And because for sure I want a sponsorship because these headphones are tight. They're sound canceling. Like I can hear they're singing at the temple. They're sound canceling, but they last forever. You plug them in and literally I can have them like I don't know like days and days. I can listen like I think they're maybe like 40 hours or something. They hold a charge and let you listen to them. Most other headphones is like fucking 3 to 6 hours and they're done. These headphones are tight and they have an amazing speaker, better than the phone or anything else. So, anyways, I digress. I digress. But what I notice is because these are so clear and it's so whatever, I was like 10 times louder than I've ever been because the other device and the thing that I've been using was broken and I literally had to be very loud. And so as I was getting this feminine Durga rage that was coming up, people are like, "Oh, you're angry." No, they're trying to portray you as angry. They're trying to portray you as depressed. They're trying to portray you as lazy or too much or whatever. And anybody that is attempting to put you into a box or portray you in a certain way, a la poubelle, throw them in the trash. Boom, boom, boom. Let them be done. Let them pass. Like late, late, late. Deuces, deuces. So just understand that the divine feminine rage is actually what cures the evil entities on this planet. So if you're in a state of survival, if you're in a state of suffering, if you're in a state of sadness, misery, whatever, right? If you don't feel like, if you feel like, you're struggling, like a struggle bus, if you feel like you're in the trenches and you're trying to get out, that's because we're in balance and the divine feminine rage needs to be allowed to come up, right? Go in, find these emotions, let them boil up. Let that Durga feminine energy come into this rage state. Let it come out. I wrote a whole track about this. Um, I'll have to find it maybe for you guys later. I want to send it to my friend that's a producer. I don't want to just put everything out on here. But he does like some production with Killer Priest, Wu Tang. Ain't nothing to fuck with. What? So, anyways, it basically, I'll give you a little clip of it. It's like, feminine energy entities enter me. So when I was doing this and I was singing it as a mantra, but it was like the hook, I was like, oh, I was inviting in last year. I wrote it actually a year ago. I was inviting them all in because when I sat with the priest, with the monk who's out here, he gave me the access to be able, because he could see my third eye and that I'm a super seer. So he gave me the access to be able to have better access and more connectivity to these ancient Hindu deities, because he could see my energy and he saw that these people were trying to get him to pay him to put the black magic on me. But when he sat and he talked to the spirits, they're like, he works with Kali Ma. He has like a huge Kali Ma fucking tattoo on his whole back. And they were like, not this one. She's ours. You better anoint the anointed. And so he did, but he did it in a slow manner so the backfire wouldn't come back to him so quickly. How's that? How's that for awesome? So, anyways, yeah. So I really started channeling a lot of these Hindu deities, these ancient deities, and they come to me and they give me their energy and this access. And so I was just like, all right, all right, all right. I want to make it more of a song so people can say, so especially feminines and masculine can allow that, because it's not just when I say the feminine needs to come back into balance and she needs to be reseated. It's not just if you have tits and a punani. Everybody has masculine and feminine energies within them. Okay. It's about balancing them within. And so the issue at hand and with what's off in the world isn't just that women need to be reseated as their place. It's that also men need to allow that femininity. And I'm not talking about the princess treatment, which is what we were joking about yesterday. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, for instance, what we were just talking about, which is allowing that emotion to come up and to be expressed, for the man to say, I really, I feel this way. I feel strongly. I support women, or I'm upset. Or maybe if men also start to understand and hold the space for how women have been betrayed throughout his story, right? It might actually be able to help us. It might actually be able to help them, because it's not just the balance of female and male, it's feminine and masculine energies. Now, the right side of our body is masculine, the left side is feminine. Okay. So if you've had a lot of injuries that happen on one side, see which side it was. When I was, when they did the black magic and I was hit and I was broken from head to toe, head to heel on the right side of my body, I was like, oh, I'm repairing all the masculine has been off. Even the heel, half my heel burned off. So because I didn't have the masculine support, that's our support, our sturdy, our foundation, right? You can't stand on one leg forever. I mean, maybe you can hobble along. I did it for like a year and a half almost. But the reality is you gotta maintain, you gotta work the balance out. And so I urge you guys during this new moon to, as you're writing the manifestations, see what comes up, what emotional spots were not held space for. Like maybe your family never hugged you. Maybe they never told you that they loved you. Maybe they never held you. Maybe they never supported you. Okay. Let all of that come up. Just be like, oh, I'm tired of being strong all the time, or I'm tired of not being able to cry, or I'm tired of not being able to be held by the feminine and be able to break down, because you're the only one preventing it, right? We're preventing it. It's you why you're suffering. You're why you're suffering, right? So I'm hoping that this can help all my masculine and my feminine beings out there, because it's not about sexism at all. It's about balancing the divine within both of us. Now, that rage still also has to come up. The feminine rage has to come up from the masculine. And if the masculine, real masculine energy, not a man, but real embodied divine masculinity, is going to say, fuck, women are the most, like, okay, a lot of the indigenous and a lot of these other cultures and things, yes, we have been product of colonization and everything like this. We have been suffering for an extreme amount of time, but women have been dealing with it longer than anything. Okay. And so, anyways, you have to understand that part of that is the masculine standing up and saying, we don't want our women and our children being raped, being attacked, being abused. We don't want people, you know. And as much as people want to say that I was angry, I didn't see, and I know I have a lot of male viewers, I didn't see one man stand up against any of the men or trannies or whatever were attacking me yesterday in my chat. It was the women, not the men. So none of the men that were in the chat yesterday, they are embodied in their divine masculine, because they didn't put these people in their place. And that is the divine feminine rage, that Durga rage that needs to come up, not just from women, but from men. The men need to say, listen, bitch, not to the women, but to the men that are still graping, attacking, abusing, being misogynistic to the women. They're going to be like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with you? She's not your servant. She's not your maid. She ain't just a fucking hole for you to fucking fill. That is when that divine feminine rage is coming up, and that will actually seat the masculine farther in their embodiment of their own divinity. That is how you embody your divinity, right? So I am divine feminine because I have learned to embody the divine masculine, to tell somebody, shut the fuck up, sit the fuck down, but also to get my work done, to take care of myself, to support, to do all of this, but also to be soft, also to be pretty, also to be kind and compassionate and loving and caring, right? So I'm fully embodied in my divinity and masculine and femininity, which is why many masculine wannabes get so insulted by me, because they are not in their own beings. So anyways, guys, hold on. I gotta, I want to put this inside because it's getting dark. I have a light, but I'm not sure that I want to deal with all of the skeets out here. So I think it's really important that people, you know, understand this. And I think it's important that people understand that in order for the supreme being, the supreme feminine being to be born, it took all of the masculine warriors and gods to turn over their strength, their strongest parts of themselves, because they understood that, because they understand that the Supreme Mother is more powerful, and she's the one that will eliminate the struggle and the problem in all of this, ultimately. So it's not about being subservient. Equality means we're understanding that we both possess feminine and masculine energies and traits. So, un momento, por favore. I need to. I'm standing here in the river, really enjoying this. The river of emotions. But yeah, so let some of your emotions come up, right? And allow the feminine. I don't know what you're talking about, Andy. This is a flowy cotton dress. I don't wear fucking tight leather dresses. And wherever you saw that was probably on whoever's stealing my face and putting it on their content. So whoever's whatever. I'm all whatever you're talking about. I don't fucking know. So anyways, the divine feminine, let it come out. Let that emotion, let your emotions come up. What are you experiencing? Is anybody experiencing some intense emotions right now? Is a real question. What type of emotions are you guys experiencing for this new moon, really. Who's experiencing? Can you ask a tarot question? If your question is related to what we've been talking about, yes, but you're gonna have to wait because I'm in the middle of the fucking jungle here, and I gotta walk. I gotta walk back before I put down the cards. I tried for like an hour, and these twat gobblers, these fucking hacker haters, kept stopping my video. This is like the 5th video I attempted to put up to deliver a message about a new moon and Durga. They really don't want people knowing that Durga is the supreme being and that she's the one that ultimately eliminated all of the what do you call it? Eliminated all of the evil entities from the realms. And so this is why I tell people we have to reseat the feminine, because that's how we level up. That's how we get to the next levels of density or clear the evil that's happening on our planet, right? But it also takes it takes devotion, and it takes respecting that, right? Oh, cool. Nice to see you. Hey, is it Jasmine? Jasmine, nice to see you. So we're talking about the new moon, and we're talking about the divine feminine. We're talking about emotions because we have a new moon in Cancer. So letting all of our emotions come up and giving them that space, right? And I think this is what people like to do, is they like to say this feminine energy is rage, or is anger, or is bitterness, when it's not. You just need to give it space because it can transmute into something else, but you have to respect it, right? It doesn't just come from dismissing it. It doesn't come from it doesn't come from trying to make it know its role or be submissive, right? It comes from allowing it the space to come up, and literally men need to allow that to happen within their own being as well. Hi, baby. Ita Manicata, want to say hello? No? Okay. She was out there with me. She doesn't really like, somebody like threw her in the water like a while back, and so she's been pretty sensitive to that. So we like to go on little wanders down by the stream. So hold on, guys, give me 1 minute here. Okay. Yes, I'm outside. Yes, I'm outside, but it's getting dark, and so that's why Kitty is not so happy. So hold on, you guys gotta give me 1 minute because I gotta get inside. Un momento, por favor. Okay, baby. The inside kitty time. All the buggies coming. So my cat, today, I took her down by the river. She scratched the shit out of me, but I took her down, and something really interesting happened, because it's a small space. It's not like a full river. It's like a man-made river. Yes, baby. Hold on, baby. Hold on, baby. Hold on, baby. Okay, perfect. Give me 1 second, guys. So it's like a small space with the river, and today she always freaks out. She scratched me, but she actually felt really good, and she was jumping back and forth across the little river area. So we're getting better. Hold on, baby. Okay. I love my little mini kitty. She's the best in the whole world. She literally is. Hold on. Let me get my singing bowl here. She makes sure that I eat, and she makes sure that we go outside. We've been on 3 walks today. She's super funny. She's super good like that. No. She's scared. I think what happened, because she likes to venture. She's like a really big adventurer. But I was carrying her because when the water gets loud, she's a little bit blind. Okay, she's like partially blind. She can see every other realm really well, but she has a little bit of a vision problem. And so when she gets too close to where the corner was, if you heard me walking, the river gets really loud, and so she gets scared. And even if it's like a meter, or like a few feet or whatever, she still can't. It's like she can't gauge how far it is away, and at some point in time, she may have fallen in the river or the mud or something, and so she's scared, and so I have to actually pick her up and carry her for a little bit to go a little farther past where the turn is and the loud water noise is, and then when I do that, and then we get farther down, and it's not so loud, she feels more safe. But normally, she stays very far away from the water, and there's like I don't know, like a foot wide or a third of a meter, depending on where you're from. Little cement that goes on both sides. It's just like a little water flows. It's like a little waterway, not really a river, but it's kind of like a little river, right? And so, anyways, she was jumping. It's like a meter. It's almost a meter wide. So like a yard, okay, like 3 feet, 2.5, 3 feet wide. And she was jumping back and forth while the sun was setting, and she was having a really good time. So we're making leap bounds, which is the most right kind of um yeah, the noises scare her, but especially the water because she can't see where it is, even though the walkway is wide, like a yard, 3 feet, 1 meter wide. She still can't see it. She'll literally walk on the edge almost to fall, like almost like mountain goating, almost gonna fall in the mud to prevent being next to it. But there's also, like I said, it's like a foot or so, like a third of a meter of cement that's on each side of the river, like a little path that you can walk on also next to, and then the grass that's like a yard. So today she was walking up and down because I carried her down. She just scratched me a little bit, but because I carried her down, um, and so she was walking up and down on the cement area because I was standing in the river. I was like, "Look, it's okay. It's not scary." And so when she first jumped over behind me, I was like, "Oh shit, she's trying to go over there and she doesn't like I don't want her to because the river is really quiet when we go farther down." I'm like, "Oh no, I don't want her to fall in the water." And I freaked out and she was looking at me like, "What are you tripping on?" And I was like, "Oh, oh. Your cat hates your red shag carpet. That's crazy." My cat likes to go on I should actually just share my nature reels on what do you call it? I should share my nature reels on my divinity Instagram so you guys can see them. I share them on my personal profile, which is all private, but um, we go on little walks every day. She'll be like, "Mom, you gotta get up." Like normally it's in the morning, but sometimes today it was in the afternoon. She was like, "We gotta go." And first she's like, "We need to eat watermelon." She's so cute. She loves this. She loves to eat the little watermelon. So yeah. So she'll get me to eat, and then she'll get me to go out. This scarf, this scarf was a gift from one of my friends. It's actually kind of this is a rather large scarf. This is a silk sateen scarf. Um, and this was a gift from one of my girlfriends, but it's actually big. It's folded in half. I folded it in half on a triangular, and then I wrap it up and then tie it. You put the first part, the third, I'm sorry. If it's a if it's a triangle like this, you wrap it around your head like this, and the triangular part comes forward longer, and then you tie, and then I fold it back again, this end piece. I fold it back again and tie it again and then make a bow. It's just a big bow. And then it's just like fluffing, right? My friend was like, "You should just do your scarf and hair tutorials. People love it." I was like, "Okay, maybe I will. I don't know." For me, with the traumatic brain injury with new brain, I just been doing everything on here. Your cat is petrified of trash bags. It's like that's how she was hurt or killed before she came back and chose us as her family. Can also be like, for instance, I think one of these one of the little farmers or whatever. I think they maybe threw her in the water because sometimes if cats keep coming towards you, like she likes to meet. She's like a very people person, and so if they do that, if they're scared of cats or something, they throw them in the water. Like that's kind of how you get cats to shut up. But also there was another cat that you guys remember that boy cat. Knock on wood. I haven't heard him around here in a while. She was like looking, she was like trying to smell for him today. She's like, what happened to that cat? I'm like, I don't know, babe. Something though. So, anyways, it could also be that like somebody potentially was fucking with her and put her in a bag. Like kids tend to torture animals. And so that's why I think because before she didn't used to be scared of the water. Before she would go by where the little river and the little waters were flowing. And that's like she likes to go to the bathroom by little, like not rivers that big, but like by the stream and stuff. And she would go and like squat on the smaller streams and like pee into them or like pee whatever. So it was a new thing. So somebody did it. One of the kids or somebody here like tossed her in the water. One day she came back like soaking wet and covered in mud. And it's like someone picked her out because she had mud that was like pet on her head and like down her back. And I was like, what the fuck? So it's like somebody tossed her in and then somebody else maybe rescued her out because in that corner area it moves really quick because it goes from three different streams into the one little thing, and so it's like flowing really, it's really strong. Where I was standing, it's only about this much water, so it's a very small stream. Okay, so who was out here before? Was it Jasmine where you asked, did you ask a question? Yeah, if you guys have a question now that I'm here with my cards, um, if you have a question pertaining to new moon, emotional states, divine feminine, divine masculine, anything that we've been talking about, definitely bring it. I try to keep everything within the same flow, but if you are new here, thank you for being here. And something that I think is good for people to know is if you're here, I'm very good at picking up on energy. So if you really need to know something and you sit on it and you're like, like what's going to happen, whatever, and you really just hold that energy. Generally, my guides will pick up that your guides, if they give the okay, um, then it will come through. They'll prompt me to speak on it or to give an answer in regards to it. Yes, we have to do better as a society. That's what I'm saying is it's like, and that's why even though when that cat was going crazy, I was like, I'm going to throw you in the river. And then I was like, wait, don't do that because I wouldn't want somebody like karmatically balanced, right? I wouldn't want somebody doing that to my cat. And I also feel that they already did it to my cat. So yeah, I was like, maybe it's better that I don't, but I was tossing like little like bowls of water at him because he was relentless. If you're new here, there was this other boy cat that was like literally, if he wasn't being mean, if he wasn't attacking my cat, I wouldn't care. I'd just let the animals. Haters, haters, haters. Okay, so anyways, we're on a bit of a delay. We're going to use this today. We're going to use the Angel Tarot, okay? And we're going to see. Dear Universe, Source Creator, Spirit Guides, Angels, Ancestors. Oh, it's looking a little bit dirty. Hold on. What's going on here? That's why I was trying to use the other device outside because when I use this one, it makes it like, it makes the screen a bit fuzzy. But after 4 times, they just didn't want me to share the message. They just wanted to make me angry. So now that I know that it's out here trying to make me angry, like we just laugh at them. They're all gonna laugh at you. So universe, yeah. Again, you guys. Okay. 9, the 9 of hearts. This is the 9 of cups, okay? This is a wish fulfillment. Many of you guys are going to have a wish fulfillment that comes into being. Now, the hearts are related to the cups, okay? And the cups, again, are about this Cancerian energy. It's water, it's soul, it's emotion. So not only are you going to get some type of wish fulfillment, it is going to be around your emotional state. So your love, your emotional state, your contentness. Something else for you guys to also know is I think Cancer is, oops, Cancer is real. I think Cancer is the fourth house, fourth sign, fourth house, something like this. And Cancer is a mother sign, right? Where we just had a Capricorn full moon, okay? That's masculine. So that's father wounding, and this is mother wounding, okay? And that's why it's so important that we get back to Mother Nature and allowing the feminine rage to have its space, to not shut it up, to not belittle it, to not attack it, to not any of that. Allow it its space. Allow the feminine to express or feel the range of emotion. It's important. It's really important. We're healing this. Also, if you're having any issues, it's a great time to heal these. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean um, that you have to deal with those specific people, right? Um, for me, my mother is extremely, or whatever she is, my mother, I don't really know. She never really acted like my mother, but she's narcissistic personality disorder. And so the NPD made her a life of resentment and jealousy. For me, I feel like it could have been something else. You know, I always kind of felt like I wasn't her kid. I had different partners that were like, "Are you sure you came from her vagina?" Because she never acts like it, but she literally tends to every other child as if they're her, as if she birthed them. But you, it's weird. Like, what's that? I was like, yeah, 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 I know. I tried my whole life. And sometimes you just realize that people that are in this very narcissistic, abusive, they're stuck, right? Narcissistic personality disorder. When you understand that that is their personality, you can do your best to try to heal. It's what basically set me on a long healing journey. So I'm grateful for that. But I just want to I just kind of want to share, so some people can understand. Yeah, this night of spades. I want to take action towards it, and so how I'm healing the mother wound, right, is by being fully embodied in my divine femininity, is by stepping into this full embodiment of this divine femininity and saying, all right, it's this. This isn't just for me. This is for all women. This is for all mothers. This is for everyone that may become a mother. This is for anyone with the womb space. This is for the world. We're birthing this new, right? So if we're birthing, no, don't eat that. Don't touch that. No, it's not for kitties. So if we're birthing this new era, come on now. If we're birthing this new era into reality, okay, it's almost like I feel a bit like the doula for the new earth. That's actually my really good friend, Tegan. Love you, Teags. I hope you're feeling okay. Um, we miss you, me and Manny Cat. I miss you. Um, but she was like, I don't know if this is going to sound weird. She told me this years ago. She was like, when I did a session with her, and she's like, I fucking feel like you're the doula for the planet. And she's like, I don't know if that sounds crazy. I was like, nope, one hundo. So if we are nurturing this new energy to come into play, and we want things to be more balanced, if we don't want war, destruction, power, greed, hunger, graping, bomb, if we don't want all of this stuff, then we're going to have to move into a more feminine energy, right? Which is why I started this matriarchal meow movement, right? Um, you have deep mother wounds too. Yeah. And so this is part of it, right? And so how we can heal that. Look, it gives me so many goosebumps. I'm sending so many hugs and loves. you know? For me, it's been something that I've fought for my entirety, right? Because I'm just like, well, I want to, and I've begged her and I've done everything to be like, I just want you to be my mother, but it's not. And so that's why I was having a little joke with my cat and I was like, are you my mother? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, were you my mother on another planet or another lifetime? She's like, yeah. And I was like, "Oh, okay. Thank you." Because I'm like, literally, my cat has more care for me than any other human. I mean, besides my grandmother. My grandmother raised me, and she passed away when I was 8. But I spent most of my time with my grandmother and my grandfather. I mean, my grandfather when he got older, but my grandmother when I was small. And so it's like I know what a healthy mother, what a healthy feminine should look and should feel like. And so the most important thing is to say, okay, even though this was a wounding for us, right? Like this was a big thing. It's like not that we don't want to be a mother, it's just we want to heal those spots within us because if we heal those spots within us, um you did that with your mother, Kitty, the other day. Oh, if we heal these spots within ourselves, right, which is this Cancerian, this mother energy, right, the sign of mother, but also Cancer is representing the home, our home space, our house. So the saying goes, the home is where the heart is, right? So I say, okay, my heart is within my being, right? It goes wherever I go. So if I know that, then if I do my inner work, then everything else around me doesn't have the same effect as it was, if that makes sense. So we're healing this. So that's why I'm telling people it's a really good time to say, okay, I want to cry. Like my friend was like, oh, well, just figure out ways that you can not be so upset or you can not be so bitter. And I was like, listen, sometimes we just need time to grieve what we lost, right? Because for me, I see all of my friends that have fully grown children, that are now in high school or going to college or whatever. And I'm just like, you know, it's like these people that were abusive and that were grooming and that were trafficking and handling me and doing all this stuff my whole life literally robbed me of that. They robbed me of being able to have that experience with my girlfriends, of being able to have that motherly experience. But I also, to be honest, I also chose that because I didn't want to bring that wounding forward, right? I didn't because it passes through generations. So sometimes when people just get pregnant and have their kids real fast, they're not realizing that if they haven't healed their own trauma, they're just passing it on, right? It's just like, all right, you didn't heal it, so it goes to the next generation. So that's why I've spent a solid 15 plus years working on that and doing this. Yeah, cry therapy, scream therapy, like let that rage, let that Durga come out. And that's why I say now when people are like, well, you're being a little bit overprotective, I was like, no, I'm not. I'm going to have standards and boundaries because I have been in extremely narcissistic relationships and abusive relationships my entirety of my life. And so sometimes when we come from situations like that, especially if we have bad mother woundings and stuff like that, we literally we we keep attracting the same type of people, the same type of partners. And it's not because we're not healthy or we're not doing the work, it's because that was our safety. Now, it's really hard for most people to wrap their head around or to comprehend that the person that was supposed to be your most intimate caregiver was your number one abuser and enabler for all the other people that were also abusing you. That's really hard for a lot of people to conceptualize. Even me, it still is a lot for me to digest, but I digest it and I understand, right? And I understand, like now I understand that she's hurting and she's going through a lot of this pain, but the reality is you supported this person who was abusive to me and allowed that. You enabled that. So now that you're hurting because that person is gone, I'm not just going to come running back because you're hurting to coddle you. I have coddled you as your parent, as your mother, the entirety of my life, 20 fucking something years of my, now I'm 40 and no, I'm not doing it anymore. If you want to call and apologize for bailing out on me as a mother, if you want to call, because here's the thing, narcissistic abuse, manipulation, all of these tactics, all of these patterns, of course, they want to say, oh, well, you're angry. Oh, well, you're alone. Oh, well, you're bitter. Or were you this? No, no, I'm not any of those things. I'm actually just not being your bitch anymore. And I'm not going to let anybody talk to me or treat or insult me anymore. That's the action that I'm choosing to take in order to get to my wish fulfillment, in order to get to my happy ending, in order to maintain my emotions. And it's not like, well, I'm shutting everybody out. You know, my friend's like, well, you would have a lot better time dating. And I'm just like, no, a fully embodied divine masculine will step into his masculinity and hold that space. And they're not going to feel like I'm attacking them. They're going to say, wow, I can really feel the emotions that you're experiencing. I'm here to hold space for you. I'm here to hear you. You know, my bestie here, Kita, right? She, which is also a word for kitty out in Indonesian, um, she was, you know, she was awesome. We were really very strong tools for each other, you know, feminine tools for each other because we both were always extremely in our masculine, but we got to be able to play and be in our feminine, you know, get to have our bubble baths together and stuff like this, you know, just like children, you know, letting this play come out. But something that she would always do is be like, okay, do you want me to hear? Am I just here to listen? You know, do you want feedback? You know, or do you want my opinion? Do you want me to agree and tell you, do you know what I'm saying? Like what do you need from me? Do you just need to vent? Are you just expressing? Do you need feedback or do you want an external opinion, right? It's like, what do you need? And like every time I'd be like, huh, nobody ever asked me that. Well, actually, yes, I do need to maybe vent a little bit, but I would like a little bit of feedback because sometimes we don't always want feedback. And the situation with that is men, masculine energy, what they love to do is they always want to fix something. There's a problem, we have to fix it because they're very linear in nature. It's just how they're drawn. They can't, my friend Rose, shout out Rose, um, she'd be like, they can't help it. You know, guys can't help it. They were drawn that way. You know, they were just drawn that way. That was part of their design, you know, part of their blueprint. They can't really help it. But the reality is sometimes we just need to be seen or to be heard, whether you're feminine or not. Again, this goes back to my masculine, my male viewers. Okay. Sometimes you just like, listen, I just need somebody to hear all the stuff that makes me sad and hold me or let me cry and let me have this moment because men always have to be like, well, I'm too strong or I'm this or I'm that. And it's not when we say protect and provide, yes, that strength, but also have a healthy balance, which means if you want to get, you know, like that healthy masculine and feminine balance will be, babe, I need to tell you what happened. I'm really experiencing some intense emotions. Can I have a hug? Is it okay if I break down and cry? Like, can we go get this food that I like? Whatever, right? That's normal. It's only when they don't that it becomes stored in our body, whether we're men or women. So the healthy expression and to be seen and to be heard, right, is so huge, right? That's so huge, no matter what you are. It doesn't matter. Everybody just sometimes needs to be seen and heard. And sometimes it's just that simple. Sometimes there is no fixing. Sometimes it's just creating a container to hold that space. A good little trick that I learned when I started doing this energy work and everybody would come to me with all of their heavy ass problems is I'd be like, all right, you're here and I'm here. Okay. Now, in between us, is this, we can say it's a black hole, we can say it's a fire pit, whatever, you know, with blue flames, it doesn't matter. But imagine that it's this black hole, and this black hole is where we're going to put all this energy, right? And this is a good practice for anybody. Anything, any hate, anything that you need to let out, whatever, we're going to put it here. And what that does is it takes you as the practitioner or as the listener, right, as the empath, and it takes it so you're not taking it on, and it makes it so they're aware that they're not So you don't feel like they're attacking you, and it's not because they're letting it out. You're not taking it personal. And now it has another location, another place to actually be going to. You know, and just like I'm just like, yeah, and fuck this shit and throw some other shit in there. And the guy who stole my French fries, or the guy who whatever cut me off today, I'm gonna put him in that black hole too. You know, whatever, you know, like just be playful about it. But to have that little space, you know, is so important, like to create something to where it's not, because energy never dies, right? It either becomes transmuted or it transfers. So when you're empathetic or you're having a lot of compassion or you're seeing or hearing people, it's important to have that secondary space so nobody's taking it on. So it has somewhere to go. And you can envision it as a fire or as a well or whatever. It doesn't matter. Drop it in there, right? As a pit of despair. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But it's like then the energy, the attention, the energy, all of that is not being transferred to the person that's holding space for it. And it's not going back and rebubbling up in the person that's sharing it. It's now we've created a space for it to go. Right. And I know that a lot of people may not quite understand this because many people are programmed for 3D, for the third density. But as we get to these spaces of compassion, to fourth, fifth, sixth density, right? It's a heart centered space. It's a collective heart centered space. So, as we know, 3D, you can see things in 3D, but as we get to 4D, many people don't understand, right? Like the infinity knot starts as a circle, and then as it comes down, it transfers into the infinity knot. It's a circle that's being twisted. So, hello. And so when we understand that, when we understand that it's the same thing, that the densities, oh, I'm being really loud. Sorry. Let me make sure to turn this down so you guys don't think I'm fucking yelling at you. So the different densities, I can take this off. I'm super loud. Wow, okay. These headphones are like a total noise cancellation. So the different densities allow us that ability to have that. Now I understand why they thought I was so angry yesterday, because these headphones are really potent. So anyways, the as we get to higher densities, right? We can create spaces like that where we're putting shit in there and it doesn't have to come back. I used to have this one lady, and she ended up passing. Rest in peace, Michelle. Okay, she's part of these psycho identity idea, get whatever. She's one of the many people that I know that were my friends out here that you know, they put weird magic on her to offer to collect all of her stuff. Anyways, I used to try to do all these sessions with her. And the thing is she was in this state of despair. She's like, oh, but, or she was in this state where she really liked the attention that she was receiving from feeling injured or hurt. And sometimes we get stuck in those loops. And so because of that, I had to create like a little spell where I'm like, listen, every time I do the work for you, the energy work for you, you feel really great, but then you go back into your negative aspects. You're like, oh, well, I'm sick and I need this and I, you know, and because you go back, what you're doing is you're reverting the energy and then it returns to me. And then I would be like, fuck, you know, like I'd be like, fuck, laid out in bed for like 2 days. And I'd call her and I'd be like, how you doing? She'd be like, oh, blah, blah. I'm like, God damn it, you know? So even with the protection and stuff like that, energy never dies. It has to be transferred or transmuted. So because if we're not seen or heard, and if we don't allow that energy in motion is the emotion. If we don't allow ourselves to experience that emotion and understand that it's temporary, right? Then we let it go. But if we don't, then it has to go to someone or somewhere, right? So that's problematic. And that's what we want to avoid more than anything. So, what do we have here? Cry therapy. Yes. You went through the exact same thing with your mother-in-law, was the first one to ask you what you wanted and was in shock due to now. Yeah, exactly. Because people, look, it gives me so many goosebumps, you guys. Because that's the thing is people are like, it's like everybody's like, oh, well, maybe you need to go to therapy. Maybe you need to chill out. Maybe you need to get fucked. Maybe you need this. It's like, no, 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 no. Everybody just needs to be seen or heard. It's just a natural human thing. even if you're from another dimension, it's a natural thing. It's living in this planet, right? Look at all the beauty around us. Look at Mother Nature. She's meant to be witnessed. When do you feel the most connected? When you're sitting there staring in the beautiful jungle or at the ocean or wherever you are. I don't know what your climate scape is. What is your climate? What are you guys at? Are you guys like jungle? Are you farm? Are you desert? Are you, what is it like around you? You know, are you in the mountains? Are you by a river? What is it like? And when you go to those places, right? What do you do? Do you be like, "Oh, shut up, ocean. I don't want to hear you." You'd be like, stop looking so beautiful, tropical flowers. Shut up, bird. No. Who told you? You need to submit because I own this land and I don't like your, you know, like, come on, think about it. It's fucking insanity, right? Like, if you actually put it into perspective, it's literal fucking insanity, right? So, witnessing, right? That is our divinity of being here on this planet, on this water world, right? It's filled with water. So it is an emotional, it is a feminine energy and state. The moon and everything. The ocean's tides change when the moon cycles change. The whole world is affected by the lunar cycles and phases, the same as a feminine, the same as the woman, right? As the womb man. This is the manifestation of the womb. The earth is the womb, is the creation. What do we eat in order to grow the child or in order, whatever? We eat the nutrients that come from this planet. Hopefully you're not eating poisonous stuff and birthing children. I'm sure there's a lot of people that have, and that's why we're probably in where we're at. But let's step out of this idiocracy space, right? And witnessing, seeing, hearing, just being present, witnessing. And that is literally, look at it, it's going to make me cry. I have so many goosebumps because I feel you guys. I feel your guys' energy. I'm sending so much love to everybody that's really feeling this, you know, witnessing. And that's how the male and the female can do it, is by witnessing those emotions, by witnessing the beauty, by saying, wow, this is green, or wow, that earthquake broke all this stuff open, or even when a volcano burst, like, wow. Wow, you know, I had an ex that used to call me, he's like, you have Pele's fire within you. And I was like, absolutely, you know, I am like Gaia embodiment, right? So it makes sense. But even when the earth is doing its crazy stuff, even when there's a blizzard or a snowstorm or a earthquake or a lightning storm, with the lightning storm can catch things on fire, but is it not one of the most beautiful things that you've ever witnessed? When the sun is rising, all of the colors that go in the sky, when the sun is setting, the rainbow of colors. Is it not one of the most beautiful things to witness? Do you like, you know, it would be a lot better if, or do you just witness it? You just witness it. Ciao, Crystal Alexis, Grand Rising. So witnessing and allowing that energy, that naturality that comes from the divinity, from the embodiment of the divinity, is really how we get past this, right? This is the action that we take in order to get our wish fulfillment. What is our wish fulfillment? This beautiful utopian dream. You guys, Shakina, the soul of the world. Like, I won't cry. I probably, like, I don't know. People are out here hating, but whatever. I don't care. That's nature. That's natural. Okay, and we have the four guardians. So this is the world, also known as the universe. The Vesica Pisces is what represents the feminine nature, right? From the seed to, and it creates another and another. Same shape as what? As the Ponan? You wouldn't imagine. You wouldn't imagine. That's not for you. So Again, Mother Nature, Mother Earth, allow all of this to come up. Allow it, right? Allow it. Okay, can you give us more messages for the collective? Okay, the 10 of Wands. Yes, we have done all of the work. We don't need to keep battling, right? Look at, these are little angels. My little angels. Okay, we don't need to keep battling, right? We've already done that. Look, her sword's up. Her sword is up, right? She's here to embody that work, to embody it. It's a pure embodiment. And that's literally what's going on. And that is literally that Durga energy, that divine feminine rage. It has to awaken. So sometimes we have to mourn. And this is what I told my friend, to go back to the minor wounding. Sometimes we have to give ourselves space to mourn that loss of being able to have had a healthy relationship, of being able to have a family that gives a shit, of being able to have a nurturing mother, of being able to have support, right? Of being able to create your own family or birth your own family or have a healthy relationship because you were never shown it. So you spent your lifetime figuring out how to rebuild it, right? Yeah, the Four of Cups. Okay, this is about not a missed opportunity, right? It could be in a lot of other tarot decks, right? But this is really about how it's like another chance, right? That's kind of what they're telling me. It's another chance, okay? Now, if you did the work, then what is for you is not going to miss you. Does that make sense? So normally it's like, if you have done all of the work, you will receive your wish fulfillment, right? If you took action towards your wish fulfillment, if you need to do something, then you'll be able to get that. It's about what is for you won't miss you. And if somebody else, or it won't, if it's meant for you, then it is for you. For many of you guys, this can be that you've healed some of these things. And now Theliel, the Prince of Lovers, right? This is the Lovers card. Many of you guys are healing this so we can actually have lovers that are coming into play. Many of you guys, you may have, like, okay, for instance, let's say you did all the work and let's say you're like, well, what the fuck? Like, the person that I thought or what I wanted or whatever, like, ended up somewhere else. I missed my chance. I missed my opportunity. No, no, lovelies, no, darlings, you did not. And the divine is here to say, trust me, we see things that you can't see. We have all of the guardians activated. You may not know that, but we do. We're up here doing this work. We're up here. We see the work. We see your devotion. We see it. And you're not going to miss that opportunity. As a matter of fact, you may be surprised by, you may be blindsided by this lover that comes in to enter. Okay? Yeah. Someone's going to be, also, for instance, let's say, maybe it's like, maybe there was more work that you had to do, and now it's like, activating this other level and this other lover, this other thing. So for instance, let's say your old path that you're on before you did all that work, maybe you were more groomed for patriarchal bullshit, right? Maybe what you thought you wanted was this, that, and the other thing. And now maybe you get to have that and your thing, right? And that's kind of what it boils down to, right? Is what they're saying here is like, you're going to get, for some of you guys, you may be like, this person may come out of nowhere. This lover, this new lover, it's like the universe is literally blessing you. Look at this, Raphael, the angel of healing. The angel of healing. It's like he learned the knowledge, right? He's got the book, the snake, the information, right? And we're in Mercury retrograde, so it's about how people will communicate or not communicate. You may be getting some communication from someone that you didn't realize. Um, Maybe was a lover or something like this, but the universe is basically saying they're going to balance it out for you. Temperance, the angel of time. Yeah, it's like maybe something had to happen to come farther forward to kind of alchemize, right? This is alchemy, the angel of time, but this is about alchemy, right? So many of you guys, it's like maybe if you would have been with that other person before, maybe they wouldn't have been the best version. Maybe it would have ended quickly, maybe something bad would have happened because you still had some type of karmic lesson, or maybe they still had some type of karmic lesson that they had to undergo with somebody else. And then it would have happened between you guys because it still needed to happen and you came in before. Something like that is kind of what I'm picking up on. Okay. King of Spades and the Seven of Spades. Okay, someone has been secretly hiding their passion for you. As I was getting ready to take everything out, I was hearing, what do you call it? This Christmas song, which is really interesting, but it says, it's talking about three kings, and how the three kings see the star and they travel from near and far to bring these gifts to the new divine being. Well, what if they realize the divine being isn't Yeshua, right? Because we're in the second coming of the Christ consciousness, but it's definitely Sophia. It's definitely the feminine energy that it's coming through. So imagine if actually it's three kings that are coming to bear gifts, right? Like in old times, the reason why kings came to bear gifts is like princes and kings is to say, this is our offering. We support you. We support your kingdom. Or maybe we want to make an offering to marry the princess or the queen or whatever, right? To whatever. And so they were, I don't know why, but they were the song was coming through, and it's like, we three kings of Orient are bearing gifts, we've traveled so far, star of wonder, something, whatever, something forward, glory, star of wonder, star of bright, shine with all your beauty light, something like this. But I was like, wow, okay, that's interesting, right? Because my grandfather's big thing was like, you need to go to the Orient, the Orient, the Orient. Like that was like, he was like, you're going to go to the Orient. And like one of the last orders of business before they offed him, before they fucking drugged him up and poisoned him, just like my grandmother, fuckers, like, we're not going to know. Getting the tox reports. Fuck you. Anyways, was for me to come to the Orient. That was his big thing. His last order of business, the last time I spoke to him, is when I was at the embassy and I had received my passport. He had gone halfies with me to pay for the rush passport, to have the passport and the card. Oh, so they're using my passport card. Ooh, cocksuckers. How'd that work out for them? Not so good. Huh? So, anyways, um, this was his thing, and he really wanted me to come to the Orient. He's so much older, but he loved it. He loved it out here. I know that he definitely had other wives or other families. I found pictures when he passed, for sure. And these jewelry boxes that are like really, they're high level. Like in Japan, they're like these high level like jewelry box, like whatever. They're special boxes, but they're gifts. They're like dowry gifts that the bride's family gives to the husband's family or whatever. It's like dowry, old school. So, anyways, wow. Okay. Okay. We on it. Okay, so we have Abraxas, which is the angel of magic, the same as the magician. Look at he's got the new moon and the sun. And also, you guys, this could be a really intense time for um for healing a divine feminine and divine masculine, right? Because divine feminine is the sun, right? The sun. And the masculine is the moon. And normally the moon is connected to the feminine cycle. But it's like this time the sun is the brightness, is the light that is brought to the world. So actually, again, it's inverse. In a world of my own. Everything is as it shouldn't be and as it should be, or it wasn't, something like this. So imagine if the sun and the moon cannot exist in the same time because there's always opposition, then it would be during a black moon or a new moon when the moon would actually be able to meet the sun, right? Because it wouldn't have to be seen in the sky. Is that what it is? Oh, that's so cute. So anyways, my ancestors are hilarious. I mean, they're adorable. Um, Anel, the angel of the star of love, okay, which is interesting because the star is the wish or the dream, but in here it's love again, love. And again, the ace of cups, the ace of the cup of the ace of hearts, but this one actually has a cup on it. So this is this actual offering of love. You hear this bitch outside my door just no. Okay, so some of you guys literally, you may have actually done the work, and maybe that is something that you guys come into as you come into this relationship. The thing is even though we've done all the healing work, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's not a healing that happens when we come into partnerships or relationships. Now, something I will be completely real about, right, is my last relationship. Now, I had, oh, look at this, the wheel of fortune, the wheel of time, the angel of fate. It's something that you guys have been betting on. It's like gambling. It was a bet or a gamble or something like this. Okay. Um, oh, what was I saying before that came out? Oh God, my short-term memory is so food non-existent. Okay. So, anyways, this love. Okay. So, a lot of things heal when we come into relationships, right? Good job, new brain. You're doing good. And so as these things are healing, that's why I like to use the cards as visual ante so I don't forget so much. So as we're healing this, we heal a lot while we come into relationships. And even though the last relationship that I had was intense, there was a lot of trauma. There was trauma bonding, but also a lot of things that we healed together, right? Of having these narcissistic mothers, of having similarities that we grew up with, and to heal them. Now the thing is like I did a lot of the healing. He did some of the healing, but he decided to revert back to old patterns and habits and things like that. And that's a choice. That's everybody's free will, right? But it was beautiful because we got to experience together what it was like to be each other's partner, each other's sibling, each other's parent, each other's child. We were able to hold this space, and it wouldn't have happened the same if we weren't in a close, intimate relationship. So there was a lot of things that actually got healed through that. And even though psychopathy and trying to steal my identity and everything and pretending to be me and trying to unalive me and get many gangs and a bunch of people to unalive me, um it still doesn't matter because we did heal a lot of things together, right? So I take the blessing, I take the lesson, and I move forward. Now, neither here nor there, but the reality is sometimes we pray or we ask for a solution or something to heal us, but we're not willing to understand that or let that be the lesson, right? Sometimes we get caught up because we're like, well, these people are my family, or these people have been my friends, or I've invested this much time and energy, and especially feminine energy. We get caught up because how much time and energy we lost or invested into something. And so, because of that, it makes it very difficult sometimes for us to turn it loose. But when we do, when we let go, right? If something is meant for you, then it will come back to you. And sometimes it comes back in the same person or in the same form or in the same manner or from the person that took it or whatever. We don't really know. And sometimes it comes back a different way, right? So let's say, maybe you guys go into a relationship and you restructure now what it is to be the mother and the father, because now you're going to be the mother or the father, right? Maybe you didn't have that healthy example from external, but you're recreating it from this next thing. And that's how you do it, right? And, that's why some people have different things that come into place as different forms of karma. It's to help us heal those woundings. Now, if we understand the lesson and we take the lesson, then we don't have to, have the whole crazy experience. But, a little to each his own. Um, Everybody has their own trauma and their own different things to kind of like to process with, to process through. And the final stages of healing, yes, are telling everybody toxic to fuck off, but also a lot of them come in interpersonal relationships and especially in intimate relationships because we hold a different space of vulnerability. Now, not all of those interpersonal and intimate relationships necessarily have to be physically intimate. They don't have to be sexual in nature. Sometimes it can be your best friend. Sometimes it can be a group of women, right? Sometimes it can be someone else that you consider a family member or something like this. That is healing, right? So, anyways, you can just kind of like, you can kind of feel that as it's coming up. I mean, I can kind of feel that as it's coming up. Yeah, we're letting this old, beautiful, we're letting this old paradigm die, right? The angel of death. This is my angel as a Scorpio. Okay. We're letting this old version die and the six of swords, right? The six of swords, we're now moving forward. We're moving on to calmer, safer shores, right? And this is the rebirth. This is the death and the rebirth. Give yourself the ability to mourn the old version of yourself, the past versions of self, right? That's really what this is. For sometimes it can mean someone passed on and it helps you. It can mean that somebody is going to pass on and that can help you, okay? Sometimes it's just an older version of yourself, right? Sometimes you're just like, death to the previous version of me, death to the old, death to that angry version, death to that submissive version, death to that version that thought we needed to be subservient, that we needed to be quiet, that we should be seen and not heard. No, we should be seen and heard, no matter who we are. Let that go, because if you don't let it go, if you don't transmute it, right? The reason why Scorpios are so powerful, right, is because they can transmute that energy. We have the capacity to transmute. We know that with the death, with going into the depths and coming back out, right, we rebirth the next version of ourselves, which is why we have the scorpion and then the eagle, which soars, and then the phoenix, which is birthed out of the fire, right? We transmute. It's the transmutation. 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 Shout out to Roselle. Where you at? So this is what it is. Do we transmute that energy? Do we give ourselves that space to go to a calmer shore? Do we give ourselves that space to put ourselves in a safe space? And do we understand that sometimes, even though we're like, oh, well, I really wish that I had that supportive family, or I really wish that I had that supportive father or mother or whatever, do we go back to that? Or do we say, all right, I'm now going to mother myself? Like I had this whole little thing today because my cat was like, Mommy, wake up, get up.
I know you're tired and you want to take a little nappy, but come on. And she'll like put her little paw and be like, give me little kisses and stuff. And she'll like wake me up and then she'll be like, "Boo, boo, boo, boo." You know, today she was like, let's eat. And I'm like, I already fed you twice. And she'll be like, no, no, no. And I'm like, oh, you want me to eat? And she'll be like, yeah, yeah. And so then we eat and we ate the watermelon. And then she's like, come on, come on, come on. And I was like, what do you want? Go outside. The door's open. And she's like, no, 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 no. I was like, oh, okay. We need to go for a walk. Yes. It's like literally, she's like a puppy cat, right? She's like a therapy cat. She's amazing. She's like, you didn't eat. You need to go to bed, get off. Or you need to go outside, get some sun. You need to eat now. You need to sleep now. You need to whatever. And she's super good. She'll be like, let's go. Like, I want to, she'll go in the bathroom and be standing there. Like, if she wants a shower, if she's like, listen, rinse yourself, do a cleanse, right? She's super smart. And so I'm just like, are you my mother? And she's like, yeah. And I'm just like, you're right, because you always make sure I eat. You always make sure I go outside. Like, you're really helping me through uh, through the depression, I guess. Like, for me, I'm not experiencing depression anymore, but the traumatic brain injury kind of keeps things on a repeating cycle. And so after I got hit in the accident and I couldn't walk and do all of that stuff, I was in a very depressive state because I was just like, I need somebody to take care for me. And I think that feminine have been taking care and uh have been have we've been making sure everything else is taken care of, right? Instead of ourselves. And we haven't really taken that time to step back and take care for ourselves. And so now we're like, wait a second, women aren't angry. I mean, if they were like, men should just sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. And you should be glad that after everything we've been through fucking eons, that we don't want to fucking slaughter you all and chop off all of your fucking dicks and your nuts and fucking save them so we can fucking move forward, right? Like, we can have a sperm bank and not need you guys anymore. Chilling. We can maybe collect a few hundred of you for breeding and rinse out the rest if you can't step to it, you know? But to stop to take care for everything else ahead of yourself. And that's where the dark moon comes into play, right? The black moon Lilith is similar to the Chiron. The Chiron is the wounded healer, okay? That's how you step into the version of you that is the healer, like part of your thing. But your black moon Lilith is is on another level, the darkness, the shadow aspect that you go through, that you bring forth with your north node, right? So my black moon Lilith is in Aquarius. Aquarius is about different ways of doing things. It's about community, right? It's about innovation to how we come together better as a society and as a community, right? My north node is in Gemini in the sign of Pisces. So it's about Gemini is about communication. They're ruled by Mercury. They're about communicating properly. The 12th house is spiritual. It's Pisces. It's about the unseen realm. So here I am helping people, being a spiritual channel, right? Speaking clearly, giving the information while working for the collective, not for my own personal good, but for the collective, and creating a new solution to heal this collective wounding, right? Black Lilith, right? So collectively, it's the matriarchal meow movement. And I know that a lot of people have these mother and father woundings. And that's why I think it's really important for us to create these new structures of community, because it's coming together in unity, because the separation, fear, lack, scarcity, separation, jealousy, greed, envy, power, lust, all of these are where the old paradigm wants to keep us. Addiction, right? The corn, the graping, the whatever, everybody's watching, the addiction, eating, smoking, substance, blah, 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 like numbing, medication, whatever it is, right? These are part of the fear, the lack, the scarcity, because what happens is when we're taking the pharmaceuticals, we're numbing what our body is meant to feel and experience, right? When your body, let's say, let's say you hurt something. Let's say you cut something. Your body signals all your little blood cells, your little white blood cells to be like, boo, 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 boo. Go to that spot. Meh, meh, meh. Can we get all the white blood cells down here? We got to go to that spot. We got to stop it from spurting out. And it sends what is needed. Now, something that when I first started doing, this was must have been 2014 when I first started seeing like I went to a group and I was seeing like a psychiatrist, right? And she was like, she worked with a lot of people that had like severe PTSD and CPTSD and stuff like this. And she was like wondering, right? Because I wouldn't take the medication. So we had this whole conversation. And she's like, listen, I can't force you to take the medication, but what I can tell you is you can't continue in the program or collecting any benefits from the program or from the state if you don't take the medication that they say that I have to give to you. And so I asked her, they say that you have to give it to me. So do you concur with the medication that you're actually giving? And she was like, no, but whoever's above me probably gets paid for it, to be honest. Like I had to ask her straight up because I told her at this time I was in California and I said, well, I found a solution, right? I found a solution. And my partner at that time, shout out to Forrest, um, was was helping me to have like the dabs, right? The oil, the THC oil or the wax or whatever, to have the dabs. Why? Because they were the quickest to shut down the anxiety, the intensity from the PTSD when you would go into the the horrors from all of the horrors, not to be confused with the horror next door, but the horrors and the trauma, right? And so what it was doing is it was getting like shutting it down. And so as we were going through all these therapies, what she realized is she was like, you're like leaps and bounds ahead of everybody. She's like, most people that experience what you went through, it would take them 10 to 15 years minimum before they would even be able to start reintegrating back into society. So now I realize, wow, so now I'm just processing all of this shit. And so I'm just like, all right, I'm giving myself a moment because I'm like, oh, it's only been a year since, like, not even a full year since all this trauma because they've been trying, I mean, they've been trying to, two of my birthdays, they try to unalive me, right? The last two of my birthdays. So I'm almost to the third. I'm an All Hallows Eve baby. So, right, we're in what, July? So August, September, October. So it's been going on for a minute. But since I've been out on my own, right, since I fucking escaped, has only been about 6 months or something. So I let myself be like, okay, you know what? Okay, like the agoraphobia is actually slightly normal to the CPTSD, right? The complex trauma, right? And so she was like, it's amazing because she was like, well, what do you do? And so I told her, this is what I found work for me. I don't do good with pharmaceuticals. They like, I'm not good with them. And so she was like, all right. She was like, listen, I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to be honest with you. And I may or may not lose my job, but I support what you're doing because I see you making leaps and bounds ahead of people that have been sitting here in this group trying to heal from their trauma for extended amounts of time. Because what happens is when you hit those trigger points, you need something that shuts it off directly, right? And that's why out here in Indonesia, right? Because we can't have THC, that's why I found the ket, right? Because quick disassociation. And you don't need to get high. You just need a little bit to disassociate. And it's not to fucking disassociate from the whole world. It's to literally shut off that trigger trauma point. So THC is cool, right? It is the ultimate medicine, right? And it was brought, cannabis, gonna take a ride on that cannabis, right? So it was brought from Canis Major, Canis Minor, right? From Sirius, from all these people that lost their planets. And the Syrians were very organic plant beings. And so they brought it down here to be a healing medicine because a lot of our species, right? The Lyrians and the Syrians, the Lumerians, the Atlanteans, are coming from there. They were grouped there. And so it is actually in our nature. Look, it gives me so many goosebumps. It is what heals the masses. And then it was really funny when I was doing the research and I saw when they're doing the mind, the MKs and all this weird, like trying to send um, frequencies and stuff to make people go crazy or to do whatever different things, that I realized that the canna is also what blocks those frequencies because it's connecting you, because it's feminine in nature, right? And then if you're doing something else like a CBD or something, that's a masculine in nature because it's not a psychoactive. So it's like, wow. Or the tobacco was also the masculine. Tobacco and weed was the first thing we grew as humans. Where do you think that came from? Eh? So, and that's what I'm saying. This was from the gods. That's why I say, all praise the most high goddess. For real. That's why I was having a good laugh with the ancestors the other day. Yeah, they used to throw it in the fire pit to inhale the smoke. And so you see, even in a lot of the old artifacts and stuff like this, the alien artifacts and stuff like this, they're creating pipes and different stuff like this. And then if you look at, like, for instance, the Deemsters, the ayahuasca, the peyote, the all the different cactus medicines, right? They're all coming from the plants. Like I said, the way that they kind of explained to me that this earth is basically kind of like an experimental um, botanical garden where there's a bunch of different species, right? We're in a hybridization project, right? And they brought a bunch of these different plant species to be our medicines, to be medicinal. And that's why the same person who wrote the King James Bible wrote demonology and witch hunting before that, because they were also working with putting big pharma and changing everything, right? They wanted to monetize things. So, of course, they wanted to burn all the people that knew how to work with all of the plants. And as this divine feminine rage, this Durga rage, this divine feminine rising, it's that feminine rage, that fire from within. Wow, that's coming up. And that is, as we awaken that and as we allow it its space to be awakening and to hold that space for it to continue to awakening, the dormant information that is within our DNA, within the feminine DNA, they can't take that away. They may have burned all of the books and most of the witches and whatever else, but it is still within our lineage and our DNA structure. So we all still have the access to it. And that's what they're fucking scared of. They tried to eliminate and they tried to erase it. Try as they will, try as they might. It's not what it is. I can't really agree with that because for me, I have a lot of Native American lineage. Okay. So things that were white in nature were the devil. White flour, white sugar, milk. Like, we're the only species that is drinking milk from another species that is meant for the baby species of that species. What do what is nurturing babies when they're born? Mother's milk. Mother's milk from the milkers, right? Not from the cow. You can't give a baby cow's milk. That's why they have formula. It's actually sickness. Humans are actually more lactose. So cow's milk, like sugar, is absolutely a no. That's a 100. That is a demonic. It's demonic. It's demonic. If it's pure sugar cane, okay, but we're not supposed to have too much sugar. We're not. And we're not supposed to be drinking dairy milks. We're not. It's the same as the people that are eating the flesh and drinking the blood. You're eating bloody meat and you're taking what's supposed to be, it's like, so they slaughter the babies that become the veal so they can keep the cows that are having the babies and fucking suck the milk out of them. Bro, like, no. No. I'm sorry. I like, the guides are like, no. Eh-eh, eh-eh, eh-eh. We can make plenty of milks from different things. And I've never heard of that. I've never seen that documented anywhere. No, what we used to do is we used to let certain things ferment, right? Like an orange. Like, do you know where amoxicillin comes from? It comes from the the mold, right? It comes from the mold of the fruit. That was the medicine that healed. It's not, no, never were we supposed to eat something that came from another species like that. It's abnormal. That's again a patriarchal programming. The guides are saying you need to fucking put your foot down on this. And that's why you see ancient, um, like for instance, Buddhism and stuff like that, like they're vegan or they're vegetarian, like mostly vegan. If you go to any of those places, that's all vegan. They're not eating any animal products. It's not normal. It's literally not normal. It was meant to be eaten when you needed it or if you came from a colder environment. Like that's what people had to eat. Like if you're really like Nordic and stuff, like they're living on whale blubber and like a lot of different things. So the thing is no, no. And actually we really shouldn't be partaking in any animal milk unless you're having your own cows and your own goats and you're feeding them. You shouldn't be, because they pump them full of hormones and antibiotics, and that's what's making people fat or tall or getting them sick or giving them cancer, because they're being pumped full of shit. So I can't agree with you on that. Like absolutely not. Now they may have been using different things because they were trying different things. There may have been things that work different in different times, but no. To my understanding, they would sometimes put herbs or roots or whatever in the milk, right? To take away pains and different things like this. More like a lot of people might consider it like some type of witchcraft or something like this. No, we're not made to like alcohol. Absolutely not. It's just so something that I learned today was every culture separately discovered and created their own form of fermentation. And that's what it is. If you're actually doing fermentation, but that's not alcohol, that's fermentation. That's not spirits, that's fermentation. And if it's a fermentation of an actual fruit, that's different. A lot of alcohol is not fermentation from a fruit. It's from potatoes or grains. It's from roots or grains. Fermentation from a fruit, maybe like wine or something, that might be okay, right? But no, like there's a fine line, and that's where it gets messed up, because um because that's what it is, right? That's where it gets messed up. Listen, if you're going to be rude, I don't drink soy milk, to be honest. I don't drink soy milk. Um, for me, um, oat milk, oat milk is nice. A lot of the soy, it has a lot of, what do you call it? A lot of the soy is also has a lot of pesticides and stuff on it. I just want to be honest with people. So soy products are really not actually the best. That's why I like Indonesia, because they make a lot of what's called tempeh, which is again a fermented soybean. Your body naturally works better with fermentation, literally, your gut. And your gut microbes, right, is what's creating your happiness, your serotonin, all these other things, right? For me, I really love coconut milk. For me, I live in a tropical place. I love coconut milk. Coconut milk is my favorite. But oat milk is super easy for people to make. Okay, people pay a lot of money for it, and they can just like buy some oats, put some put some filtered water, and blend it up and whatever. Like oat milk is super easy for people to make and for people to get. For me, I like many types of milk, but I'm highly against almond milk because it takes a lot of water and a lot to grow the almonds. You know, in California, in the Northern California, they have all the almond trees, you know. And yeah, it just takes a lot. It's a lot. So yeah, better to not. Better for but the different nut milks are really great. Macadamia nut, cashew. Um, I love one of my favorites is not macadamian, not chestnut. What is it? What is it? It's like another nut that's like brown. Not walnut. What is it? Why can't I think of it right now? I don't know. I can't think of it. But anyways, it's it's really, really, really delicious. It's got more of a nutty flavor. But anyways, I digress. The point is there's everything that we need is already coming from nature. Goat milk is probably better for people to drink, okay, than other things. Um, you know, I know a lot of friends that are drinking like the raw goat milk and stuff like that. It can be okay. Can be okay. It depends. Again, it depends on where you're coming from. What is your genetic makeup? Where, you know, what's going on? Brazil, right? Oh, Brazil nuts. Yeah, can be also very good. Um, uh, I want to say it's like a chestnut, maybe, maybe. I just can't think of it. I can't think of it. But yeah, um, something like this. They're a little bit more, you know, they have more um a different flavors, you know, like a variety of different flavors. But the reality is like again, we as humans are the only species that be drinking milk from other animals that's meant for the baby animals. So it's just for me, I feel like people that are super, because here's the thing, they wanted to get people hooked on the meat, they wanted to get people hooked on the dairy, they want to say you want to grow big and strong, you got to get the milk because it has the calcium, but really you're not really receiving that much from it. So it's neither here nor there. Just thinking about it makes me like kind of sick. I can't, I gotta stop talking about it. But anyways, guys, so go deep, sit with your emotions, and know that there is something really beautiful coming in for you. I'm going to hop off before my feed is too long. Grand Rising. Hello, the Storm Alice. Grand Rising. Thank you for your comments. Yeah, eggshells have a lot of calcium. The filament on the inside, right? Also, yeah, the eggshells. That's what I'm saying is like there's so many things that are naturally producing the seeds and the eggs and things for us that we don't need to be taking what's meant for other small creatures. So, as always, guys, um, I appreciate all of your love, your likes, your comments, your shares, and your subscribes, and your presence. In case nobody told you today, you're awesome. You're amazing. You got this. You're on your own, but you're not alone. Keep going. Um, you're amazing. You're awesome. I'm proud of you. I love you. And as always, infinite blessings, love, and light. Ciao for meow. And let these emotions come up, guys. Let them, energy, emotion, let the emotions flow and see what comes up after that. See how good your body feels. See how much you release after you allow it to be. Okay, guys? Smoochy boochies. Ciao for meow. Zoe out.